just it was on my heart to share this along with other things. It makes no sense. So what it does is it puts me in a position of, okay, what should I do? Should I just park my car around the corner, and hide? Or should I, if I leave my car by my family member, I still got to pay a car note. I still got to pay insurance. And now I'm still taxed with the timing of not being able to have a certain job because I can't get there. So all that's a part of the system, a system that's supposed to be for you, being against you.
But see, I said that before too, right? And it's like, this system will send you to jail and demand that you be reformed.
Right.
But they got so many things in place, right, to not help you when you get out. Right. So many things not to hide you when you get out, you know? And like you said, you got to settle for low-hanging fruits, okay? And the other thing, and I said this earlier in the podcast, it's like, sometimes when you get out of jail, you got to develop this mindset like a hurdle. In the Olympic event, that's his event, the jump hurdles, so you kind of like look forward
to it.
It's
a pleasure to me.
Right, because it ain't what you, it ain't your experience, right? It's not your experience that shape your life. It's what you become by it,
right.
So I understand because I'm going through some things like that myself.
But the lesson I learned was it just made me just be reflective on. I understand the process. So what if I had a defeatist attitude? What if I wasn't as confident and understood the process? What if I wasn't patient? How you can experience adversity from the system, and sometimes I'm not saying you give a man that much power over you or a situation that much power over you, but they have a lot of people that when they experience adversity, their natural reaction is to react negatively and engage in negativity. So we're supposed to be in an environment where that's supposed to be supporting everything that's positive. So everything that I've accomplished since I just got my CDL, I just got my apartment, I graduated from Green Infrastructure, got my OSHA 10 card, trying to get my SWIC. It's just everything that I've experienced or trying to do, nobody has helped me here. So what if I wasn't the type of individual that wanted to get it, was trying to go through the process? I know it didn't discourage me, from Delgado or from wherever, or from FAFTA or wherever. What if I wasn't that type of individual that understood the process? And you have people making six figures here, a number of people, several people, and that's supposed to be their responsibility to aid and assist, because I'm not looking for no handout. But if this is your capacity, this is where you're working at, and this is what you're supposed to do. What I see, I see them working towards with the system,
And especially when you don't have the mindset to win, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is like, because I had a conversation with a little guy like that, that's still around, right? And I was like, you ain't got a job yet, man, He said, man, I said, look, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You'll suffocate yourself around here if you're not proactive. You got to get on top of that, because ain't nobody even worried about whether you still stuck in here, So you got to take the initiative and start calling and doing things and networking with people from here, do the itineraries, because they'll let you out on the itineraries, but it's on you to do it, You just can't concentrate on one job. Because the people you sending the resume out you don't know who they are, so you don't know if they're gonna make a decision. Yes, so some people really fall into that sinkhole.
And it's that that's what's sad to me, because I be wanting to represent change, and represent how we being treated out here. And to try to change the perspective, just like you, of formerly incarcerated individuals. When you say you formerly incarcerated, the people have a tendency to want to put you in a box. For this is how you're supposed to be, this is how you're supposed to talk, these are supposed to be your experiences that should have been shaping you, this is what type of situation that you can't be in, all kind of bullshit.
And when you're different, you kind of like on the endangered species list. Meaning that people can see something different in you. And sometimes you got to take your leadership role, because sometimes people ain't going to give it to you. You got to take it, and they're gonna follow. You know, and it's kind of like I use the example like when I was in prison, right? I used to tell guys, you know, because many places that I was as the old head, right? I would be the shot caller in form or in fact. You know what I'm saying? And I, you know, and I learned this here. Sometimes it's kind of like it's not a good analogy, but it's like when you walk a dog, right? A dog is always in front of you, right? Meaning, but when you turn, he come catch up with you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to know how to, you know, be that leader, you know, and people understand that you make the best decision in everything that you do. For the whole, right? So they'll follow you, you know. But you got some people follow Paul Carter. You know, because I used to tell people that too. I say, man, how you following the Paul Carter? You know? What you mean? You know, I mean, it ain't got no doors, it ain't got no wheels.
It ain't going nowhere. You know, you got to at least follow something that's worthy of being emulated, that has your best interest at merit. And I think that's a big thing too. Like I try to tell young brothers that I work with, I tell them, I say, man, if you always conducting yourself like somebody's watching, you know what I'm saying? That's something that you wouldn't want to have somebody see. Then you don't have to be worried about how you're gonna respond, because you're gonna condition yourself to always be upright and to do what you're supposed to be doing. So ain't nobody gonna never catch you doing nothing that you ain't supposed to be doing, because you always doing what you're supposed to be doing.
And see, and that comes from that foundation of integrity. You know, that you know you develop it, and it's like what you do in the dark. You know, now the most private spot in the universe is inside your mind. You know, and like, you know, they got a cliche that say you're not responsible for the first thought, but you are responsible for the second. You know,
you don't have to act on that thought.
That's right.
Your mind will be running, but you have to control your mind and what you thought. Like, well, I can't believe you just thought that.
Exactly.
Your mind.
That's right. You know, the universe gonna always give you unwelcome thoughts.
You're like,
you know, crazy. So but it's a difference between thought and practice. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, you know, you responsible for the second thought, not the first.
That's
you
a
know,
good analogy.
and the thing about it, that the more you react to it, because yesterday I was out here with a guy, you know, and me and him always speaking, and I always use the term familiar strangers, because I know about him, he know about me. But yesterday we wound up engaging in a conversation, and it was a conversation about relationships with people, with marriage and everything. I said, boy, you know, I know you'll never get on the podcast, but I wish you would. But I tell you, even if you don't, I would still like to have these kind of conversations with you, because these conversations don't happen that much among matured men.
Man,
you know?
I'm glad you. And that's crazy that you bring that up, because I guess it's one of them things, like I'm thinking, like, should I share this or should I not? But I think I do need to share it, because I was in a relationship before I got out, and in most relationships that you hear people, we have a bad reputation. Us coming dudes that's getting out, been having relationships of women that's for several years, 3-4 years, or whatever it may be, because women support men, but men don't support women. Like if you go to women's prisons, they say you're not going to see the visitor room packed.
I always
tell
people that.
But women, you know, they God's gift to earth, you know, and without them, it's you know, our situation, just our race wouldn't be in the position that they're in right now, because
women's are more nurturing, you know, because I've been through that situation. Okay, when I first developed the awareness about it, I used to go see my little son, and when he was in LTI, right, and the thing about it, you know, it used to be a bunch of women just going to see their sons, right, and everybody was saying it was on the third Sunday, right, every month, and they used to say, boy, you be the only man come here.
It's changing now with the younger generation.
And even when I used to go see one of my baby mama, she was in Bryan, Texas, and it's kind of like looked like a university when you go there, right? And they used to have women situate their visits around her visits just to see me, because there was no men's in the visiting room. And sometimes even when, sometimes when you leave it out,
brothers up there to start seeing some sisters, but you know, we might be vote need to probably do that. Just some, not necessarily on the relationship set, but just to have some men where a woman can come talk to men, just on some brother shit, just on some I'm a man, I care, and how you doing, sister? You know what I'm saying?
And see, we think a woman has the advantage because we think like a man. We look at a woman and see how fine she is, how pretty she is, figure that she can get a man. Maybe she can, you know? But it's like sometimes being born with looks and beauty is like being born rich. You know, meaning, but if you don't know how to spend it, but you don't know how to spend it. See what I'm saying? Meaning you don't know how to spend it because sometimes, you know, you got the look, but you come from a dysfunctional family. So you got a mindset that's broke down. So you think everything is for somebody else and not you. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I mean, I got a lot of stories of that ugly duckling thing.
Or you think that your whole worth is your attributes is on the outside when that's just when everything is on the inside. You could be beautiful on the outside, but you ugly inside. You know? So
but that comes from also that, you know, for to change the inside, it got to be a constant work on. And this is what I know from experience, because y'all see me like this, right? Y'all see, since I've been here, I come out every morning and work out. My wife and them see when I go on my pass, I get up in the morning, cut the grass, wash the cars, work. And they say, you always do. I said, this is a part of my workout. Meaning, like, once you train yourself to do something a certain way, right? You don't know how to stop. Some people don't know how to start. But you don't know how to stop. And all they do is take, like, for you to just force yourself into doing something. They say you can change your habit in 21 days. And I mean, my thing is, I always try it. So change comes first from intentional awareness, you know, and not get stuck. But what I do notice about these podcasts, man, the longer you take them, the harder they are to post them. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of times, you know, people be wanting to see, you know, how the podcast went before I pull a trigger on it, you know?
They have, and I wanted to finish before we go, but yeah, a lot of guys have a bad rap, and they're saying, well, when you get out, dude, and he just being with her because he locked up, or when dudes get out, they're gonna want to be a hoe, and don't want to be in a relationship. There's a lot of brothers here in relationships, but I just come out of a relationship. And when I got out, it wasn't that I didn't try, because my principles wouldn't allow me to just come out here and just wild out or not try. But who I was, we had issues before I got out. Not we arguing, not nothing about how we gonna provide for ourselves, nothing in reference to that. It was all about the quality of the relationship. How you gonna treat me, how I'm gonna treat you, which was always respectful. But if you going this way and I'm going this way, and every time I try to help you go this way, you pulling in a direction, I'm choosing all my energy trying to convince you about what we supposed to be doing, possibly, and you can't lead us, and I'm trying to lead and get us in a better position, you know what I'm saying, within the system. Then you know, I can't, you know, I couldn't just keep, and it wasn't just about money, I just couldn't keep, you know, you be with somebody and you love them, but you're not in love with them, or you try, it's a difference when you cross the business shed with somebody, or when you in a house and when y'all in the car all the time and y'all talking about life and y'all seeing, now you can really see chemistry, now you can really see what's going on. And it's a disservice it would be a disservice to me to be in a situation knowing that I know it's not gonna work, you know what I'm saying, and steady holding on to a situation, you know, so, and it just didn't work. And so
I always use cliches, you know, all the time. You can't get the 12 out of a dozen, you know. And here's the thing, sometimes, you know, God opened doors for you, we can't see it. And anything did by force is half done. You know, sometimes we try to force situations to happen, right? But I'm gonna tell you this here too, you know, it's like what you are saying, it's like you got to recognize that when you are changing, right? And that
people don't want to change.
Because sometimes your behavior will rebel against you. You know, because sometimes, you know, I can't say a person's name because he was real active around the nation, right? And me and him used to do classes and stuff together. And when we, you know, at the end of the class, right, I get my certificate as an instructor, and he wouldn't get his, right? And actually I say who it is, because I mean he need home, you know. I give honor to Dr. Mutulu Shakur, right? Tupac dad, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll say, they'll give me the certificates, right? And they wouldn't give it to him. And then he say, well, I can't get a certificate. And you know, and security say, you know why?
Right.
And sometimes I used to tell him, I say, bro, you know, sometimes, you know, we stay the person who we think we're supposed to be, and sometimes it works against us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning that sometimes, you know, you got to change for people to see different.
Right.
Because sometimes security see you a certain way and your activity is a certain way, right? And they just feel like you're going to still be a threat when you go home.
Right. So they didn't want to give him the certificate because they didn't want to acknowledge his, they didn't want him to be a facilitator
he high
of a
profile
positive situation.
with
Because they feel like he'll try to
and things.
okay.
Yeah, right. And all
revolutionize instead of we just dealing with self-help and critical thinking.
Exactly, but sometimes, you know, we stay the man that we think we're supposed to be.
Right.
And sometimes that'll get us stuck. And sometimes, you know, even prison, sometimes, you know, you could become a primitive man, you know. You could get behind with a lot of things, you know. But anyway, man, I'm gonna have to end this here because again, like I said, I know this thing.
I didn't mean to be negative.
Nah, man.
But
they need this conversation.
Yeah, people need support,
right?
And
not only that, like you see, all this is training. Look, I ain't never set this up this way.
Right.
It's like, you know, I'm just learning everything as I go.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to, you know. So the better, like I tell people all the time, you're never great at anything when you start, but you become great by starting. You know, you just gotta continue to do things.
You gotta do it. You gotta be purposeful.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation.
Right.
I know it was a little more controversial to most.
That was the PG version.
But this good. This good. All right.
That was,
okay. Be safe.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace.